2 years ago, nobody in the NASCAR garage thought Shane van Gisbergen would be anywhere near the top of the Cup Series points standings. When he first crossed the ocean from the Australian Supercars Championship, the industry consensus was brutally honest. He was an elite talent in his own discipline, sure, but stock cars were a completely different beast. The heavy and cumbersome vehicles with their unique aerodynamic properties and massive horsepower were supposed to be his ultimate handicaps. Everyone assumed he would be a novelty act, a temporary distraction before the established veterans put him in his proper place. Then came the inaugural Chicago street race, and the entire narrative was shattered in an instant. In a performance that defied all logic, Shane executed green flag passes with a surgical precision that left the grandstands in absolute shock. He was untouchable, demonstrating a superior understanding of braking zones and throttle control that made the series regulars look like complete amateurs. The disbelief in the garage was palpable as drivers watched this outsider secure a victory on his debut. But the critics quickly moved the goalposts, claiming that road courses were his comfort zone and real tests were the ovals. They argued that drafting at 200 miles per hour and navigating the banking of traditional speedways required decades of specific experience. When he committed to a full season in the Xfinity Series to learn the ropes, his initial oval outings were undeniably awful. He struggled to find the delicate balance between oversteer and understeer, often wrestling a car that felt completely disconnected from the track. It was an unfortunate reality of the steep learning curve, and many wondered if he would ever truly adapt. However, what the skeptics failed to realize was that Shane possessed an analytical mind and an unparalleled work ethic. He spent countless hours in the simulator, studying data, analyzing telemetry, and understanding the subtle nuances of the front splitter in dirty air. As the current racing season progressed, the improvements became impossible to ignore. He was no longer just logging laps. He was actively climbing through the field, chasing down seasoned veterans and executing calculated maneuvers. His understanding of side draft and air manipulation evolved at a terrifying rate. The upcoming chase format raised the stakes to unimaginable heights and demanded absolute perfection from every single contender on the grid, moving rapidly forward. This new pressure cooker environment was designed to break drivers, but it only seemed to sharpen his focus. At the historic Coca-Cola 600, a grueling endurance test that pushes both man and machine to their absolute limits, he delivered a massive statement performance. Running inside the top 10 for the majority of the evening, he navigated the shifting track conditions with the composure of a tenured champion. He survived the chaotic restarts, avoiding the typical multi-car pile-ups that claim so many victims, and brought the car home with barely a scratch. But the true turning point, the moment that officially put the entire garage on high alert, happened under the neon lights of Las Vegas. The high-speed mile-and-a-half oval is notoriously unforgiving, a place where the slightest miscalculation results in a guaranteed trip to the infield care center. During a late race restart, the field fanned out 4 wide entering turn 1, creating a massive aerodynamic wake that unsettled his car. Suddenly, the rear end snapped loose at over 180 miles per hour. To the naked eye, it looked like a guaranteed disaster. The car was sliding completely sideways, tires smoking, heading directly toward the outside retaining wall. In a fraction of a second, his dirt track and rally instincts took over. With lightning-fast reflexes, he counter-steered perfectly, feathering the throttle to keep the momentum moving forward rather than violently hooking into the fence. He brushed the wall ever so slightly, a mere kiss of the right rear quarter panel, before smoothly gathering it back up and blending into traffic. He did not panic. He did not freeze. He simply managed to survive a situation that would have ended with 99% of the field crashing hard. The grandstands erupted, but the reaction inside the race cars of his competitors was one of pure, unadulterated fear. They had just witnessed a level of car control that defied the laws of physics in a stock car. Denny Hamlin, a master of the discipline, dedicated an entire segment of his podcast to the save, expressing his utter disbelief. He admitted that he had no idea how Shane kept the car out of the wall. calling it one of the greatest saves he had ever seen. Chase Elliott echoed those sentiments, noting that the ability to process information and react under extreme duress was simply on another level. Joey Logano was brutally honest in his assessment, stating that if Shane could do that while sliding out of control, the rest of the field was in serious trouble once he figured out how to maximize his speed. These were not just casual compliments. These were the weapons of the sport acknowledging that a new, highly dangerous threat had entered their domain. The narrative had completely flipped. He was no longer the underdog trying to find his footing. He was the anomaly that everyone was desperately trying to understand. His progression continued at an exponential rate. At Phoenix, a track known for its tricky dogleg and challenging apron, he qualified inside the top 5 and ran up front all day. He was manipulating the air, timing his passes, and protecting his tires like a seasoned veteran. The fear among the establishment was no longer just about his road course prowess. It was the chilling realization that he was becoming a complete, all-around threat. When a driver of his caliber learns how to exploit the draft and master the intricate dance of superspeedway racing, the competitive landscape fundamentally changes. We are witnessing a generational talent dismantling the traditional barriers of entry into America's premier motorsport series. The old guard is being forced to adapt, to elevate their own game, or risk being left behind by a driver who refuses to conform to expectations. His journey from that initial awful test session on a short track to executing flawless passes for the lead at intermediate speedways is a testament to his sheer willpower. Every time he straps into the car, he gathers more data, refines his technique, and adds another tool to his already formidable arsenal. The competitors who once looked at him with curiosity now watch his onboard cameras with intense scrutiny, trying to decode the secrets of his unnatural speed. They see the way he enters the corner, the unique lines he takes, and the aggressive yet calculated manner in which he navigates traffic. It is a constant game of cat and mouse, but Shane seems to be the one dictating the pace. As the playoffs approach under the unforgiving chase format, the tension in the garage is palpable. Every point matters, every position is heavily contested, and the margin for error is practically non-existent every single race weekend now. Yet, amid this high-stakes environment, Shane remains incredibly composed, treating each race as just another puzzle to solve. His ability to compartmentalize the pressure and focus solely on the mechanics of driving is what separates the elite from the merely good. The fans have fully embraced this underdog-turned-superstar narrative, packing the grandstands and buying his merchandise in record numbers. They love his humble demeanor off the track and his absolute ruthlessness on it. He has become the ultimate disruptor, a driver who does not fit the traditional mold but commands absolute respect through his undeniable results. With every green flag that drops, he shatters another preconceived notion about what a transitioning driver can achieve in such a short period. The statistics paint a staggering picture of his rapid ascent, showcasing a drastic reduction in his average finish and a significant increase in his laps led on oval configurations. He is no longer just surviving the races. He is actively shaping their outcomes, forcing the established stars to defend their territory against an invader who learns at the speed of light. The motorsport world is collectively holding its breath, waiting to see what impossible feat he will accomplish next weekend. Because when a driver can slide a stock car at 180 miles per hour, brush the wall, and casually keep racing, all bets are now officially completely off. The question isn't whether SVG can compete on ovals anymore. It's how soon he starts winning on,